everybody. Welcome to This Day. It is Saturday, February 20th. And on our show today, we have social services, and that is with Susan McInerney, and she's got tons of great information about what social services does for all of you guys. And then we have an interview with a former TV host right here from This Day, Rob Merritt. And I caught up with him to talk about all the stuff he's doing and all the things that he loves what he sees with our show as of this day. And let's go ahead and go to our COVID vaccine resources for you that we normally do, so you have all the information at your fingertips of what's going on here in the village. We do have our hotline, which is 949-594-2533. Do not call resident services. However, another way to get your answers, your questions answered, is to go to the Laguna Woods Village alerts.com website. Now, this is also where the portal is. So when you do have an appointment that has been given to you, you will be able to find out what that appointment will be. Now, there has been a little bit of confusion for this weekend. However, we wanted to let you know that the appointments, Memorial Care will be using their appointment notification system, and VMS will utilize code RED, as they did before, to contact you for your new appointment if you were scheduled for a second dose vaccination. The portal will not automatically update your appointment. So we wanted to make sure that you knew that and that you will be contacted for your second dose appointment. Now, let's also go ahead and give you the information regarding Soka University and Disneyland. Now, because there was a bit of a shortage of vaccinations, you still want to go get information regarding the registration. So for that, you want to go to occovid19.ochealthinfo.com, and then you will register at othena.com, and they will be able to provide you with any information regarding those particular pods. Now, if you are a Kaiser Permanente member, Kaiser Permanente has their own situation where they're going to have you have a hotline, 833-574-2273. And if you want to make an appointment, you can go to kp.org/COVID vaccine if you are 75 and older. And then upon them being able to contact you, they will contact you ages 65 to 74 when the time comes. Okay, that was a mouthful. Let's go ahead and talk to you a little bit about our weather. Looking just beautiful this weekend. Get outside and enjoy. Lovely weather today, 68-53, mostly sunny skies. Tomorrow, sunshine with lots of warm weather, 76-53, and then a little warmer on Monday, 78-52. If you're traveling this weekend, the beaches are looking quite nice, as well as the mountains. The snow probably is still on the lifts, but probably not on the streets. So we're looking at beaches 70-52, Santa Barbara 67-45, San Diego 70-50, High Sierras 40 with a low of 20, Big Bear 46-22, Mammoth 38-15, and Palm Springs is heating up 76-50. All right, our sunrise this morning was at 6:29, and our sunset is 5:40. Alan, thank you for sending this in. And what a beautiful prickly pear cactus that is. You know, you can take those little prickly pears off and you can make all sorts of delicious things with them. So fun. If you have a photo you'd like to share with us, please email it to lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. When we return, we will have Susan with social services. Stay tuned.
At Harvard Eye, we are so happy to be open again and to see all of you for your medical and surgical eye care. We're taking great care to protect everyone from COVID-19 by seeing fewer patients, spacing out chairs in our lobby, sanitizing our office constantly, and doing much more. The world is changing a lot, but what hasn't changed is we're honored by your trust and confidence, and we're committed to keeping you safe. We can't wait to see you.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Susan McInerney, and she is here on behalf of Social Services. Well, Susan, nice to see you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Everything's great. And I know you guys are always busy and you're busy during COVID, you're busy doing the vaccines. And I think you're going to be busy with some new issues that seem to be cropping up because of our stay at home with isolation and depression.
Yes.
So, we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But before we get into kind of the weeds of what social services has been doing, tell me what social services is.
Yes, of course. So social services started in the 1970s here in the village. We're one of the, I think what makes us so cool in the village is it's a very unique model. The whole mission was developed to help Laguna Woods residents maintain their independence and enhance their quality of life. So I'm pretty proud to be in a department that's the mission, just to help people age successfully and do a good job kind of navigating, because we know as you age, there's a lot of roadblocks and barriers and new situations which people might not have expected. And that's what we all do. We are trained, licensed clinical social workers or working towards licensure. So, and there's 7 of us, 7 social workers right now. There's myself, Laura Boucher, Lourdes, Dustin, and Chelsea. Dustin and Chelsea, we're privileged to have them because Dustin is from Memorial Care, and we've been doing a lot with Memorial Care recently. Yeah, and he heads up our fall prevention program. And Chelsea's from Council on Aging, and they're both, and she works within the social isolation prevention program, so friendly visitor program. And what's cool about both of them is that they're funded by those agencies, but they're under our roof and monitored by me as their supervisor manager, and then but provide services to residents at no additional cost, which is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, that is great. I mean, I think people should be I guess they should feel pretty lucky about living here because there's a lot of resources for them. Yes. That is kind of just part of living here. It's really quite a treat. And obviously the last several weeks has been something pretty phenomenal where the vaccinations have taken place right here in Laguna Woods. Right. And I know you guys were probably recipients of some questions regarding that. So as part of that program, what services do you provide according to, the COVID-19 as well as the vaccination program?
The vaccination program, really what we're doing is fielding questions because people know that when they call us, we answer the phone. So they know, even so we answer questions sometimes that are completely out of the realm of what we do, but they know that they're going to get one of us. And I should mention that even, we have the 7 social workers, but we have 2 exceptional staff too. We have Jean Chestnut and Kathy Villafana. Jean answers, she's the front face of social services, and she answers the phone, and she has been answering so many vaccine clinic questions. We have to refer to the hotline to make sure we're giving the accurate information, but we're also helping the people who are not sure what to do because they can't make it to the clinic. So we're coordinating with Eileen's team to make sure that those people aren't left out.
Oh, that's good. That's great. I mean, just another resource for everybody, which is excellent. So obviously you're trained in handling these types of difficult situations. And that's great. Talk about some of the other services you guys provide.
A big part of what we do is resources and referrals. We're trained social workers, so we're trained to be clinicians, therapists, but what's cool about social work is that we are, social workers are usually trained to do the therapy component, but within a community based. So that means we bring in and we make sure that we understand what's out there for residents within our community. We provide the resources that they need, whether it's something for fall prevention, whether it's something for meals, providing meals, medical aids. We do a lot of assistance with helping people figure out for their power of attorneys. A lot of people for the long-term planning, that's something that people sometimes push off to the last minute, which we want to make sure people are, everyone, you and I should both have our advanced directives in place. Everyone an adult should have it to make sure. So we do a lot of that, but I like to describe us mostly as problem solvers. We work with a resident, start where they're at, and then find out what their needs are and provide services to wrap around them to help enhance their quality of life.
Yeah, well, yeah, you guys, you provide a lot, and like you said, you field calls from all different
Yeah, we do.
genres, which is excellent. You can help direct them to the right area. How do people get connected with you guys?
The best way to reach us and to get in contact with us is our main number through social services. And then if you are already assigned to a social worker, you'll be routed to the correct social worker.
Okay.
And typically we get a lot of people calling about neighbors or friends that they're concerned about. So even if you want to call and it's not about you, but someone else, or if you're a family member of someone, please give us a call. We can still provide the resources that you need.
Now, does a resident call you first to see if they're eligible for assistance from the Foundation of Laguna Woods?
Yes. So if someone's struggling financially, the best thing to do is to call us directly. The foundation, we're kind of the gatekeepers for the foundation, and it was set up originally that way because they do all of the fundraising and campaigning for the foundation for the funds. And then when people actually need to tap into those services, they contact us. We'll do a financial assessment, see if they qualify under those guidelines. And then what we do is we write up kind of a little synopsis of what the situation is. We remove the name, we remove any identifying markers, and then we present it to the foundation. And they approve, and that's our process. So they never know who they're providing funds to,
Okay.
but we are that. The confidentiality is very important to us, and we present it to them.
Oh, okay, good. So they would just contact you guys directly. So that's perfect. Now, one thing that I mentioned earlier in our conversation was, what the fallout potentially will be for COVID-19 and our isolation, our stay-at-home orders. I mean, many people are alone and they can't reach out. Maybe they don't have a computer for Zoom or whatever. So maybe it's just a phone call. And I know that many departments here in the village, from either the senior center or you guys, I mean, there's a lot of people who just feel for everybody and are making phone calls, but that sometimes just isn't enough. So is this what you're projecting possibly could be the fallout, would be depression and isolation feelings?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of talking about this recently because I'm noticing that we're coming near an end. It feels like we're coming near an end, doesn't it? That things are shifting, things are going to change. And what I'm finding is that we know, most that if you are in a stressful situation for an extended period of time, your body in that kind of stressful mode takes a while to relax and takes a while to almost unprogram what it was programmed to do. It's not going to happen overnight. If we tell everyone, okay, you're go on out, you're safe, it's not going to happen that quickly. You're going to have to kind of unlearn and kind of deal with that anxiety that was in place. There was, let's face it, we've all been told for over a year, be careful, this is dangerous. Stay inside, don't go out. That's very stressful. And stress is a really sneaky thing. It comes into your body and it's hard for it to unravel and leave. So I'm hoping a lot of people will, if they realize that they're still feeling the residual effects of that, to give us a call. There are lots of techniques and things to do to help kind of reprogram, relearn, and deal with that. I imagine not just residents, but people through the whole entire world essentially are going to have some effects of kind of the post-traumatic stress of it, if not, just the residual side effects of it all. It's been a scary year.
It has been, and especially for our residents because they were the highest risk. And exactly. We go on TV every day and we say, oh my gosh, be careful. And you're right. You're absolutely right. So hopefully you won't have too much overwhelming phone calls regarding that, but nonetheless, at least you are there to help them when they do need it. So I appreciate the information. So thank you. It was nice to see you again.
It's good to see you. And I do hope people reach out and don't feel that they have to wait until they feel that it's an emergency. Even if you have a little inkling of a feeling that that you could use a little extra support. We love what we do and we love our residents and we're happy to help. So just give us a call and we're here for you.
Oh, that's very sweet. All right, Susan, thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. And we'll be right back after this.
Mother's Day is coming, and Diane's Hallmark is just the place to get Mom a gift that shows how much you care. Our women's department has gifts for that special someone, including clothing, jewelry, Vera Bradley and Bagolini handbags, Crabtree and Evelyn, and many other great gifts for mom. Don't forget that our religious department carries a great selection of Christian gifts and Bibles as well. Diane's Hallmark is a Gold Crown store. Come in and experience our personalized service. We're located on Alicia Parkway next to Hobby Lobby.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by the legendary Rob Merritt, who used to host this very program, This Day.
Welcome back to part two of our extended edition of Leisure World Today for this Thursday, the 1st of June, 1989. You have heard a 45-minute presentation of the opponents to cityhood. Now you're going to hear a 45-minute presentation of the proponents for cityhood. Before we introduce our first speaker, I'd like to mention that the results on the election next Tuesday will be available from the Registrar of Voters office, and we will try and make those available here to you at Channel 6 on our message board on our data weather.
Well, Rob, nice to see you. How are you?
Great, Lisa. Thank you very much for inviting me to be on your show. And a different name than when I hosted it, but it's very exciting what you're doing down there. So thank you for inviting me.
Well, you're welcome. Now you hosted or co-hosted the show, I believe you said the early 70s.
Right.
So that was quite some time ago, and things have come quite a long way. But nonetheless, you still hosted a television program, so you know what we're all about. What did you love best about it at that time?
You know, I think the most interesting thing was I loved the interviewing part the best. You know, reading a list of upcoming board meetings didn't do much for me, but having a chance to interview somebody, either an interesting resident who lived there, of which, as you know, there are, 20,000 plus, or interviewing somebody that was a decision maker. Would it be the county sheriff, the county supervisor, the congressperson, that kind of stuff. It was always to get to know people and get kind of what's inside their head.
Yeah, and from that perspective, the show really hasn't changed that much. I mean, we do still interview all of the people you just mentioned. Now, of course, we do sprinkle it in with those updates from United and Third and GRF, which, you know what, believe it or not, people just really do enjoy watching that. We get a lot of YouTube reviews, but I think the person that they especially like most to see is Jeff Parker, who is our current CEO of Village Management Services. And, because this whole last year has been mostly surrounded with COVID, we've been going on as much as possible to try and get all of our residents all the latest information. Right. So that part really hasn't changed that much. But you had been doing the show for quite some time, so you saw a lot of change over the years. What was one of the biggest changes that you saw?
Well, I think one of the biggest changes was the ability for us to cover the board meetings. And we actually started doing that in what was longtime residents will recall the old administration building, which is now a separate outside property, rental property outside. But we used to actually physically take our cameras apart, move them down the hall, hook them up, retime them, and do the board meetings live from the boardroom, and then take them apart, bring them back to the studio, and retime them again to do our programming. That changed when we went to where we currently are in your current building. And then eventually that went to robotics, which of course is a lot easier. You just turn it on and you're on the air, as opposed to having to retime all the equipment. So it's progressed. But covering the board meetings, just a little bit of history. When this place first started, when Laguna Leisure World at that time first started, the board meetings were closed to not only the media, but to the residents. And a change in state law brought about the fact that the meetings had to be open to the residents, and started out by letting us sit in the meetings and listen to them and then take notes and report on it. And then eventually interviewing the board presidents. And then that evolved into, I think it was Third Mutual was the first one that said, anyway, you guys could cover it live. And so they figured out how to do that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it's a great time saver for sure, because like you just said, you had to go, you had to sit in there, write notes, and then you were interviewing. I mean, we still do have some of those folks on, especially with the updates. And not everybody gets to watch them on TV, but nonetheless, we also have another vehicle called Granicus, which is where they can go online and they can visually watch it virtual too. So, the whole thing of COVID has really brought on a lot of great technology, even though we're not necessarily in the same room.
Right. Well, everybody in the media has had to do the same thing. You know, I'm watching another channel at home, and they're, you know, have to be 6 feet away from the vice president or the chairman of the board or whoever they're interviewing. Same rules apply. A lot of people wearing masks, and that makes it hard outside to understand people sometimes too. So there's a lot of challenges. But you've also been able to utilize the drone, which I thought was interesting. Some of your opening shots and segments and transitional stuff, very interesting use of the drone. I don't know who the pilot is, but very effective.
They all trade off, believe it or not. We have a couple of directors here that all trade off. Paul, of course, is still here, and you know, he throws his talents in there as well with sometimes the drone and camera operation and stuff like that. But pretty much he keeps us all in check.
Good.
So it's been great. Is there anything in particular that you miss about doing this kind of job?
You know, again, it's the interviews. You know, I didn't like having to get up early in the morning. I didn't like having to, you know, all of that. I was very fortunate in that I live close, and my commute was the opposite way. I would be coming south where everybody else was going north into Santa Ana or Los Angeles. So that was nice from a commute standpoint. I could get there in 10, 15 minutes, barring traffic problems. But I really liked the interviews the most. I didn't really like directing, or, you know, I had a lot of experience outside of Channel 6 camera running, so I didn't mind doing that on occasion. But mostly the interviews on the air, doing what you're doing, basically the interviews, was what I really enjoyed the most.
So what are you doing now?
Well, right now, trying to find a place to get a vaccine. We're at the age group that can get it, but we're kind of in a situation where our doctor's office says, don't call us, we don't have it. So we're trying to figure that out right now. We did quite a bit of traveling when we first retired. We got back the end of February last year, and the ship we were on, the people were starting to board the ship, and they kicked them all off and said, sorry, no more cruising for a while. It was fun, we had a great time, but then coming off the boat, our son picked us up, and he was going, oh, I'm glad you're home. There's all this bad stuff's happening, and, you know, so.
Yeah, it's been a challenging year for sure.
Right.
But when you guys were traveling, were you doing a lot of cruises, or did you do a lot of just travel?
Mostly cruises, quite a bit. The last one we did was kind of a long one. It was a month cruise, and it was Hawaii and then the South Pacific. And that was right when that same company, Princess Cruise ship, was in Japan, I think it was, and quarantined. So the captain of our ship was communicating with that captain, and we did have some people getting sick. We actually came back early to Los Angeles, a day early, because some people were taken off by ambulance. So people were getting, whether it was what we're all dealing with now or something else, we don't know. They don't tell you on board. But we had a good time on the trip. It was a great cruise and all that.
Oh,
so,
that's a long.
Yeah, we enjoyed
time.
that. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's awesome.
We have our younger son lives in Colorado. We like to get out there occasionally as well. We haven't been there for a couple of years as well. So
yeah. Well, what's one of the first things you want to do once COVID's over?
Well, I think the chance to get out and do more stuff. You know, you can't go to the gym. You can't go to the, you know, I've cut back on even doctor's appointments. I've done some virtual doctor's appointments. Some stuff they have to see you, you know, if they're going to do an MRI or something, or if they're going to, you know, they want to touch you, you got to go. But I think we've cut back on a lot of that. My wife is real social, and I think she really misses, well, I know she misses, you know, getting together with her friends and going out for lunch or dinner. So I think that'll be one of the things we'll look forward to, is kind of freeing ourselves up and spend more time with our kids, our son that's here, and our grandkids locally.
Well, what are some things that you'd like to let our residents know? Any last words?
Well, you know, I want to encourage them to stay involved. You know, we've just gone through the election, and people are kind of breathing a sigh of relief and tuning out all the news channels and watching, you know, baking channels or car repair channels. And I think people need to stay involved. And I think it was several wise people have said all politics are local, certainly no more local than your homeowners association. So I've always encouraged the residents to find out more about the community, learn more about the community by watching what you're doing, as well as attending the board meetings and ultimately getting involved and maybe running for the board. And then you have the additional added responsibility of the city as well. And of course, And I know, I'm not sure if it's the case now, but when I was there, all of the city council members lived in the village. I think that may still be the case. I don't know. So the
Well, I
city
know that there
is
are a
important
few
as well, and
that-
that's been a new addition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stay involved and enjoy your years. That was one thing about working there. You could see people discovering new hobbies and new interests and all kinds of good things.
Absolutely. And, you know, they've been watching a lot more TV these days based on the fact that they've been staying indoors, being safe. But we're starting to get out there. People are starting to get their vaccinations and things like that. So it's all good. Well, good luck.
Some clinics there on site at the community even for
Yes,
vaccination.
we were able to do that
So-
in conjunction with Memorial Care.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, so
That's great.
that worked out pretty well. We had about 5,000 doses. But yeah, you know, people are still trying to get their vaccinations through the 2 super pods that they have out there. So
Right.
hopefully you'll get yours soon. And you want to.
I'd rather go to Soka than Disneyland.
Yeah,
if I get a choice.
exactly. Well, thank you so much
Right.
for taking the time. We wish you well.
Thanks, Lisa. Appreciate it. Great job you're doing down there. And hi to all my friends in the community that are still there and my former coworkers there at Channel 6. So thanks for coming by and talking with us today. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you. And we'll be right back after this.
Hearing aids require a lot of attention. Don't underestimate the problems earwax can cause. Come in and see inside your own ear canals to find out how much blockage you have. Debris like earwax can cause up to 45% reduction in amplification. Your hearing aids may be able to be significantly improved to help you hear conversations clearly with a simple office visit. Every day, patients say, "Oh my gosh, that sounds so much better." Stop in or call us today for a complimentary cleaning and ear inspection. Tell them Stuart sent you.
Welcome back. Our movie for today is Mandela, and this is starring Idris Elba. And it's about Nelson Mandela, who was a South African anti-apartheid revolutionary, political leader, and philanthropist who served as president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. So this is his story. You can see that today at 3 p.m. with subtitles and 6 p.m. without subtitles, brought to you by Harvard Eye Associates. Let's take a look at our weather one last time, looking quite lovely for the next few days. We are looking at highs today in the high 60s, overnight 53, tomorrow even warmer, 76, 53, and then Monday a gorgeous 78, 52 with no clouds. So enjoy the weather, and if you are traveling, you may want to take a look at these temperatures. We're looking at beaches are in the high 60s, and it is looking quite nice, actually across the area. So San Diego 70, 50, Mammoth 38, 15. If you're heading to the high Sierras 40, 20, and Palm Springs 76, 50. Have a great day in the village. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. We'll see you again here on Monday at 9 a.m. Bye-bye.